Welcome to the Waterboro May 6th Planning Board meeting. At this time, I'm going to nominate Judy Carl to be Chairman Pro Tem. Anybody second that?
I second it.
Discussions? Vote? All in favor?
All in favor.
Thank you. The first item on our agenda is a public hearing for a change in Article 2.08, which deals with substandard lots that were in existence before the 1977 Planning Board. Planning Board. Zoning ordinance came into being.
Ma'am?
Are there any questions on the changes are here? The 208 came into being because in 1977, when we proposed minimum lots sizes, there were many lots in town that did not meet these standards. And in order to, so that these lots could be built on, this was passed so that over the years the planning board has actually allowed setback reductions, which actually is a variance. And the planning board is not legally, the only board that is legally allowed to do variances is the zoning board of appeals. So the new change to section 2.08 will give this this job of governing these lots to the zoning board of appeals instead of the planning board. Does anybody have anything they would like to?
Manager?
Yeah.
We also, the one change within the ordinance, the state has guidelines, and they're just their guidelines, and it recommends 15% for side variances that you can go out, so that's been added in. But the zoning board can work with that any which way they choose. Is that correct, Glenn?
That's correct.
Okay. Public hearing's open, right, Judy?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody would like to speak on this?
I think the planning board proposed to just delete section 208
Yeah, that's what essentially I'd say this
Yeah.
does.
and incorporate language that variances and setback requirements go right to the ZBA. I don't think we can do anything with 208. You're gonna,
So 208 was created for the planning board to use.
Right. So now
All right.
you would just delete
Created
that
at
section
the time.
entirely.
When zoning came into being.
Well, we delete this because does this get deleted by us, the selectmen, or a town meeting?
Selectmen. The planning board tonight will discuss it through the public hearing, discuss it among yourselves, and then vote whether to accept it as the text is written, amend the text, or you're in favor of the text as is, and you vote to move it to the select board for their decision.
Okay.
Is there any?
My name is Tim Neal, and my understanding is that this has been attempted several times over the years. It's happened over and over again. And I also understand that Waterboro is the only town in Maine that does it this way. That's what we hear from all the developers and applicants that come before the board. This doesn't happen anyplace else, so I think it's really time to do it. And we submitted a version of this last year, and luckily with Glenn's help, I think you probably have a better version now than what we had last year, and I support it.
Thank you. Is there anybody else, any other members of the public that would wish to speak either for or against this?
Mr. Shoemaker, can I ask us some questions on the zoning board of appeals?
Sure.
All right. As you know, we could just make 208 go away, ask the selectmen to make it go away.
Would you just speak up a little
Okay.
bit? I can't quite hear you.
We could ask the selectmen to make 208 go away altogether, because it basically was developed for us. What's best for the zoning board to address these situations on these setbacks and non-conforming lots?
Well, clarification's always best for zoning board, planning board, or any board in the town. If you've got the wording in there that requires that any setback reductions would be passed on to the zoning board of appeals, be cut and dry.
All right.
Right now, I mean, it's always been kind of surprised this is coming up, because we did variances for years and years, and it seems like as you change boards and people and things drift away, and the planning board ends up doing more than they probably should have been doing.
Okay, so
Right.
if we just move this to the selectmen and ask them to move 208, leave it intact, and move it to the authority of the zoning board of appeals.
That's what I would do.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the verbiage is there to clearly define it for the appellants that are gonna come into you guys for reductions, and it should go to the zoning board of appeals, most definitely.
All right, thank you. Anything else? Thank you.
Vice Chair, I would like you to read an email that we got from Natalie Burns, just so it's in the minutes. And this relates to 208, of course. Body of the text right there.
You like these?
Want me to read it, or you want to?
This is from the town's attorney, her opinion on section 2.08. It says, I have told the town on a few occasions that section 2.08 is in direct conflict with the court cases that have held, and that the only way that a setback requirement can be changed is through a granting of a variance by the Zoning Board of Appeals in compliance with the requirements of 30 AMRSA section 4353. I did not say that I couldn't defend the town, but I did say that the ordinances currently exist would almost certainly be found by the court to be invalid, since it authorizes the planning board to reduce setbacks. In fact, I was recently involved in a case for the town of Fry Island in which a setback reduction provision invalidated on that basis. So that's another opinion from our town attorney. Is there anybody else who wishes to say anything? Okay, in that case, I guess I would like to close the public hearing on section 2.08 and open our regular planning board meeting. Is there any members of the board who would like to have any discussion? Oh, yes. Don't give me anything.
What point in our program are we going to vote to move this tonight to the board of selectmen?
I would assume so.
Can we-
Whatever.
Can we do it right now? I'll make-
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, it's under old business? If you want to move it forward, wait.
Yeah.
Yes, with the live, okay, you can,
I'll make a motion that we move this to the decision of the board of selectmen, 208,
okay, should you
as it's written.
move that we take up old business at this time?
Okay.
I don't know, it doesn't,
How's,
just to be technical,
sure.
okay?
Make a motion that we move, I'll take back my motion on 208 for the board of selectmen, and I'll make a motion to move old business forward.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I second it.
All those in favor? Okay.
Okay, now we'll make a motion, I'll make a motion to move 208 as it's written and amended to the board of selectmen for the decision on it.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Is there any other discussion on this? Everybody ready to vote? All in favor? Or nothing? Okay, that will be sent on.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, can you give me 5 minutes while I finish writing up the...
Go. Okay, the next item on our agenda is appointments. And the first appointment is Kenneth Horne. Map 2, Lot 1, and he is here for used auto sales, repair, and recycling. Would you please explain?
First, I'm a little on the desk side, so, but
Doing the
here to
plan.
see what happens. I don't really know what the procedure is, but I've been waiting a year to get something cooking. You had a lot of different people in the code office, so.
Now, you applied for a state license?
I can't until the town signs a piece of paper. That's what I've waited for. As far as the occupancy permit, I came in to see some code officer and told him what I wanted to do. He told me there'd be no problem. At the time, I was issued a permit to renovate the interior. And then, of course, I came back and he was gone. I talked to another loanee, I guess you call him. Well, I did that 2 or 3 times, and then finally I saw in the paper that we had a new new code office coming in January, so I waited a month, and then I came and saw him. Basically, I need an occupancy permit for one thing, because apparently I'm in violation because I don't have one. And the other thing is I need that paper signed so that I can apply for used car plates. And the recycler's license, you keep saying salvage. I'm not asking for a salvage junkyard. I'm not asking for that. A recycler allows me to buy 2 cars, repair them till they pass an inspection, and put them out for sale. I need that license so that I can buy them and also be able to resell them. It's another license that goes along with the used car license. The first time I have to pay an extra fee, and then in the future, it's just part of the regular fee. And the state, Roger Nagy, you might know him, is in charge of the used cars. He stopped by with a code officer, and I don't see why there shouldn't be a problem, because I was assured that the property before I rented it was in the right zone, so I could do that. In the building, we had a little problem. They wanted it cleaned up, so I've done a lot of cleaning. I've spent a lot of money fixing the building up. There was a lot of stuff there that I had nothing to do with, tires and such. With some of it was all there. I've done nothing but fix the place up since I've been here. And I believe it's in a commercialized area, so it shouldn't be a problem. When I look out my window, I see tanks, so, you know. But the occupancy permit is probably one of the most urgent ones because I don't want trouble, and apparently I need one. I really didn't know I needed it, but that code officer originally should have told me what to do and it just didn't happen.
So, what are you asking us to do? I'm confused.
Okay.
You're asking us to sign an occupancy?
That's one thing, and
We
the
can't-
other is to allow the code officer to sign for a paper saying that it's legal to have a used car business.
Okay, I think an occupancy permit needs to come from the code enforcement officer. Could you?
Madam
enlighten
Chair,
us?
let me give you a little bit of history, I guess.
Okay.
Mr. Horne, you may sit down.
Thank you.
There is some lax in paperwork from previous CEOs, or something wasn't followed through. The certificate of occupancy obviously is issued by this office and not the planning board. So that's not what you're hearing tonight. Tonight you're hearing his application for conditional use for auto sales and service. That's the first thing you need to do. He doesn't say anywhere in the application about recycling. So if he wants you to review recycling opportunity, then in my opinion, he needs to resubmit an application for that. Currently, his
Sure.
application says auto sealed and service.
Sir, that's in the application that you should have.
I don't know if you guys.
There's an application that I brought. It should be in there.
But the recycling is a different issue altogether. I'm not certain that he can have a recycling operation in that zone. Auto sales and service, that's a conditional use and it's permitted with planning board review in that zone. So that's what you're reviewing tonight.
All right, yeah. So the lot is zoned for auto sale and service.
Correct.
Service is not repairing cars?
Yes.
Yes.
So what's the difference? He's just saying that to recycling, needing a recycling permit so he can buy 2 cars, fix them up and sell them.
The recycling and junkyard rules are rules set by the state of Maine that this office enforces. There are strict criteria to be a junkyard and/or a recycling yard.
Okay.
Once you exceed more than 2 cars, then you're a junkyard. You will never be permitted for a junkyard in that district, it's not allowed. Roger Nagy is a detective for the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. I have strong connections with him. He deals with junkyards and recycling yards. He deals with violations. So him and I visited Mr. Horne's establishment a couple of weeks ago. And at that point, Mr. Horne did remove 8 or 9 cars that were there illegally. I haven't been back in 4 or 5 days. I know he's got more cars there. As long as they're registered and inspected, he's good to go. Once you drop those 2 things, then you can only have 2 cars. And this is a state criteria, again, it's state enforced. But again, tonight you're hearing auto sales and service.
Okay. Mr. Horne? Oh, I'm sorry, Judy, man. Okay, it sounds to me that you thought that you need the recycling permit because you just want to have 2 cars, which falls under the service part of this. Is that right? If you got the opportunity to pick, you could buy 2 unregistered cars and fix them up for sale. That's what you just asked us for.
Okay, I'm asking for a used car license. That's, the state is 1 license. At the time you do it, there's a section in the application that brings up recycled cars. There's a difference between going to a regular auction and buying a car and a crash car, a car that's been in an accident. I had this for years. You go in there, you could find one that's totally messed up, and you could find one that might be just a fender. You bring it home, you patch it up, and you put it out there, but you need the extra recycling license to be able to buy it and to sell it.
Do you presently have a license for auto sales and service?
No, I used to. In fact, I was involved with West Road Auto, which is up on West Road. But before that, I had a big garage in Lebanon, Maine, for 25 years. This is fairly simple. I've dealt with this over the years, and basically you go to the code officer. I've never had to go before the planning board on this. But it's not a big deal. And every time they mention junkyard, everybody gets scared. I'm not asking for a junkyard. I kind of disagree with him a little bit on the way he interprets that. But if I have to give that up at this point, I will. But I need to have a paper so I can send it to the state. And that takes time. I've been trying to get something cooking here for a year. And I think I've been very patient, and I've invested a lot, and the whole thing, I don't know, I'm ready to give up.
No, okay. Judy?
I guess I'm confused as what you want from us. We cannot give an occupancy permit.
Well, I was under the
What
understanding
is
I had to
this?
come here to get the occupancy.
No, but what is the piece of paper? What
I've only been there a year, so.
does the piece of paper need to say that
The
you want
paper
us? to
He has a
sign.
form there. I gave it to him 8 months, 9 months ago. It just names a signature, basically saying I'm in a legal spot to operate, and I take that paper with my whole application and send it into the state. And then I wait for them to come to inspect it, and we're off and running. But
Confused, yes.
I'd like to recommend that, since we do have a letter from the
Yeah,
butter,
so we need to do a
why
sign.
don't we, as a planning board, why don't we move forward with just what's in front of us at this moment, the auto sales and service? Let's go take a look and see if we can't do something with the application that's right before us now, and then we'll deal with the recycling thing afterwards.
Would you like to make that a motion?
Sure.
Okay, what
The
is your
motion, the
motion?
motion is that the sidewalk part of the motion is that we're gonna look into granting him the auto sales and service license. We will do a site walk first available, and we'll come back and see where that stands. Is that clear enough? Did I get that right?
so maybe in 2 weeks, when you have the next meeting, we have a walkthrough between them?
When's our next available one?
May 20,
Just 2 weeks.
yeah.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Can everybody make that, what a, usually standard procedure, 6 o'clock site walk before the planning board
6
meeting?
o'clock, May
Yeah,
20th?
that'll complete your schedule for next week, your agenda for next week.
Okay, that's the,
Then
oh.
this meeting.
Oh, yes,
We have a motion.
oh,
Should we have a second first before we have discussion? Was anybody like to second that motion? Okay. It's really not appropriate to have, go ahead. Sean?
I'll be able to clear up a little bit here. I have dealer plates, used car dealer plates. What he needs is a letter from the town saying that he is either permitted or conditional use to operate a used car dealership in that facility. He has to have garage area, tool area, sales area, and permission from the town to operate. The additional recycling that he's looking for is to handle, I would believe, salvage title vehicles that can be purchased from Flood and Katrina. They bought salvage titles. He would be limited to the number that he can have on site to fall within that before you go into the junkyard status. One thing I would like to point out to the board, and I don't know this gentleman, and I deal in cars, if he's limited to 2 vehicles and you give him the recycling ability for 2 salvage vehicles, please make it very clear that that's the number, because we have a facility in town that is grossly overexpanded what they're supposed to do, and don't believe they have recycling license to do what they have. But, you know, that he would need a letter from the town that says it's either a conditional or permitted use for his facility for them to issue used cars like that.
thank you.
I was just wondering, you said you had a letter from an abutter. Is that something you need to hold a public hearing for also? Do you need to hold a public hearing for that also, conditional use?
Probably we should.
Well,
We could hold the sidewalk and the public hearing on the same night. Hold the sidewalk and come back here and hold the public hearing and then go on to the,
Madam Chair, the recycling is not allowed as conditional use.
okay.
well, we definitely got some concerns by the abutter on May Street. I still think that let's start out with a sidewalk and see what we're actually dealing with.
Okay. Do we vote on that or? No, we did we? We didn't vote on
No, but we
having
have
the
a motion.
sidewalk. We have a motion and second. Okay. There's been a motion and a second to have a sidewalk on May 20th at 6 o'clock. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor? No one opposed. Okay, so we will do that.
Okay.
But if the recycling is not permitted, this is just for auto sales.
That's
and-
how we're looking at
and
conditional use for
repair.
auto and service with comes with that license. All right.
Can I ask one question? How am I gonna get past this? I'm not a lawyer, I'm not just a layman. The bottom line is, I keep hearing it isn't permitted or whatever, it don't make sense.
Well,
The state apparently has come up with something that restricts me to 2 cars. What do you want me to
But-
hide them somewhere until I fix them up?
that's a state law. Our zoning laws have a list of, in each zone, they have a list of permitted uses. They have a list of conditional uses. If the use is not under either one of those, then the use is not permitted in that zone.
Well, for what I understand, I don't know whether it's a fact at this point, but Layton's or something further down had one. I've been told by 2 or 3 people that the different ones have had them.
John?
I would recommend this gentleman is that he go to the state and check with the state and see if they issue a used car permit that in place that allows him to work on 2 vehicles before it's considered a recycling facility. And then present that to the board. If you can find that they say that you can buy and restore 2 vehicles and it's not considered recycling, bring that information forward. You would need a recycling permit. See what the state says. That may be part of their provision for the license, that you can buy and repair salvage vehicles up to 2 at a time, which would not be considered a recycling facility. Recycling is a little different than repairing.
Yeah.
The recycling in the junkyard is so close, the state is messed up the
It
way.
isn't, it isn't. The state's very clear on their thing, so what I would do is I would go to the state of Maine and I would say, I want to sell used cars. How many can I buy of salvage titles that I can buy and
Basically, he was
repair?
there a
and
week
then
ago
bring it back to the
and said
board.
2.
All right.
But you ought to have some documentation and present it to the board and say the state says that I don't have to have a recycling license.
But if it is a
to restore.
recycling license and recycling is not permitted in this zone,
Well, that's what-
it doesn't matter what the state says. It's not
But-
permitted. I mean,
But their definition
If
might
there
not
is a
be
different-
recycling.
if there is a different
Buying a salvage
license,
vehicle and
Repair
buying a
it,
salvage
put it back
vehicle,
on the road. I mean,
purchasing a salvage vehicle and restoring it and putting it up for sale may not be considered recycling.
Yeah,
from
if
the
he has a
state.
used car
Okay,
deal.
might just be part of the
Yeah.
dealer, and it could be a whole different thing, so I would recommend that he go to the state and ask that question, and they may be able to give you a little more clarification on it.
I'll get that clear definition.
Okay.
I'll have it for tomorrow.
Okay, okay.
Mr. Horne, take heed, we're gonna move forward with this.
Yeah.
Okay. You say?
We will be moving forward with this, we're gonna get this cleaned up for you.
Okay,
We'll do
thank you.
what we can within the guidelines, okay?
We cannot.
I sent all the
Violate our
letters to
zoning.
people. There was one that kept returned because of the address problem, I think. I don't, is anybody here to complain about it or anything?
We just have a letter here from,
We do have a letter that somebody.
we
has
do have a
signed it?
letter, yes.
Yeah, it's an email.
Okay,
That was sent to the planning board.
from Danny Terrio. He said he lives on May Street.
He doesn't like it because
He says it's,
Looks like a junkyard.
yep.
Cars parked all over the place. It's a
Cars
mess.
parked all over the place, it's a
Well,
mess,
we got
and
caught,
it's just
for one
going to
thing,
be
we got
worse.
caught in a big storm and I didn't have the right equipment to move stuff around and I'm a repair facility. I'm being held to the thing that I can only have 3 unregistered vehicles, which is a private citizen can get that. I mean, people bring me stuff to fix it up so they can get it registered and I mean, but is this the same fellow I've been told that complained because he didn't like headlights when they were gonna have a,
I don't
flea
know, I
market
have no
there?
idea, it just says cars parked all over the place. And it's a mess and it's going to be worse later.
Mr. Horn, it's not the same person.
what can I do?
Again,
Well, that's why we're having a site walk, is to
Yeah.
take a look at it and see what we can do and see what we feel, okay?
we'll have much more clarity
Yeah.
come May 20th, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Here we go. Yeah. The next item on the agenda is the minutes of previous minutes. We have minutes from April 15th.
Yep.
Has everybody had time to go over those? Would anybody care to make a motion?
I make a motion to accept this.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in, or any discussion by anybody else? All those in favor? I don't think there's a report of officers. We've done old business. There's a communication from Dearborn Brothers on a reclamation bond. We have some information. Anybody have any more information on this? Is it something that we need to vote on?
Glenn? Can you, hit the bullet points of this Dearborn bond issue?
The bonds are placed to protect the town. Dearborn's gravel pit, when it expires, he will be required to reclaim it. That means to revegetate it and
Yeah.
put it back to its natural state. If he doesn't do that, the bond will
Cover
pay
that.
to have that done. So the bond stays in place until the gravel pit's expired and he reclaims it.
Okay.
I've seen Dearborn's work, the
Yeah.
town shouldn't have an issue with having to go back. I think the bond is an excellent idea. The town should be doing that regardless of who establishes the gravel pit.
He just getting one now? He didn't have one
This,
in the beginning?
That's history's before my time, but that's how a bond works.
Yeah,
Yeah, I believe this is a renewal.
okay.
That's what I was-
It must have
Yeah,
expired,
so the
okay.
town's already holding the bond and renewing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it renews every year.
Okay.
It's like a line of credit.
yeah.
Renewed every year, white letter.
So it's just for our information, it's not
That's correct.
anything we have to act on? Okay. Is there anything else, any other new business that anybody would like to bring up?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Let's get this recycling thing behind us.
Keep going.
This is Title 30A. 30A gives the code officer legal rights and ramifications for junkyards and recycling. Recycling is a state license. It means the business premises of a dealer or recycler licensed under Title 29A that requires salvage vehicles for the purpose of reselling the vehicles or component parts of the vehicles, or rebuilding or repairing salvage vehicles for the purpose of resale. And there's a pile of criteria, but basically it's a recycling license, which is not allowed in that district.
That's just, I understand it's not allowed in that district, but that recycling license says for sale, so they're not to take cars apart and sell parts off them.
You sell components of the parts that of the cars that he requires or acquires.
So they can't sell, they can't part them out under recycling license.
Yeah, he can with a recycling
But he has
license.
to have a
He's still not
recycle.
zoned for it.
In order to buy even one salvaged car and fix it up and sell it, he has to have a
Recycle.
recycling license?
Yeah,
Even with a used car,
It's a separate title, it's a different title, a salvage title and a regular title, two
Correct.
different things. It's two different
Talk
types of
about
titles.
salvage.
Even with a used car,
If
If
you
you-
have a salvage title and you have any part of that vehicle that's salvaged, if you sell a door off it, that title has to go with that door to wherever it goes. Or if you purchase a door from another junkyard to put on a used vehicle that's a salvage title, that title has to go with that component. So it's a recycling. That's why I asked him if he was talking about
Okay.
salvage, because there's two different types of titles.
So,
And salvage is refuge of reuse of something that's been either totaled or decommissioned.
so if you go to an auction and buy a car, that's not,
Buying a regular car, restoring it, fixing it, and going, if it's got a regular title, not an issue. But a salvage title is a different story.
Recycling, from my experience, it turns ugly pretty fast. You know, the site turns ugly pretty fast. I'm not saying that Mr. Horne would have that attitude, but I think the planning board is going to be careful in what they do here. But the 30A is pretty clear. He needs a recycling state license to do recycling, and recycling is not allowed in that district.
Okay, so it's fine, because we're looking at it as service and repair, so.
Right.
Okay.
okay. If there is no other business, anybody else? No, I guess I feel that we start things, we go great guns, and then we drop them. Like, we were going great guns with design standards. We had several meetings, and it's gone, and I think we need to...
The design standards are still on my desk, and I apologize that
That's all right.
they've kind of stalemated. You wouldn't believe how busy Tammy and I are, and I have to
Yeah.
pick my priorities. Unfortunately, design standards aren't one of them.
Okay,
The shoreline map and shoreline text is priority for me right now.
okay,
Selectmen Tech is working on draft 2 of the shoreline map, which the town doesn't have.
yes, I know.
And our shoreline ordinance is behind the 8 ball, so that's a priority.
Mhm.
Is
Okay.
there some help we can give you with maybe an existing committee on these design standards? Is there something that this town can do to help
Yeah,
you move along?
that would help tremendously. I think getting committee members might be difficult.
Which would be an appropriate committee to you?
Hmm?
Which would be an appropriate committee that we have already that might be able to help with these design standards?
Planning board, yeah. That's us. I mean,
Your job.
yeah,
Fine,
it is.
everything, all right, everything's log cabin.
We need to do it.
All right, bring us what you have.
Sean, yeah,
Okay.
I know you have
I know
feelings
Glenn's
on
not
this.
gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I said it last time we discussed this. Design guidelines
Well, whatever.
versus design
Sorry.
standards.
Correct.
And there is a difference there. And to guide someone in the direction of how we would like to see their facility to look versus a cut and dried guidance or guideline that's established by individual people. We've got to be careful with the wording. I think guidance is one thing, standard is another.
I know, and I'm not so sure that I agree with you.
But should it be someone's right to establish what someone else's building should look like?
Yeah,
Why? And I'm just asking because I want to know why you think that is.
because,
Without working a guidance and saying we'd like to have this type of flavor of buildings in this area or whatever. But to set a standard, this group here may have a particular standard. This board could change 5 years from now.
it
Do
could,
we change the standards every time we get a different board?
no, but I think we've gotten some
I just think there's an easier way of
buildings
working
that
with people.
I feel guidelines are just that. And if I tell you I have guidelines, and you say I don't want to do that, you can go right ahead and do what you want to do.
Congratulations, Sean. You just volunteered to be on the design standard committee.
I would be happy to work with the board and give them my insight as a contractor and a property
Sure.
owner.
Can,
Okay, but all I'm fearful
I
is over restrictions on people, guidelines and guidance can work. If you go to people with a, you know, and a warm and fuzzy feeling and say, you know, what if we look at doing this, or put a gable here, or do this? But boy, if you cut and dry and say it's gonna look like this, and we're not gonna give you a permit,
They don't walk.
you know, I just
Well,
don't.
there are lots of towns where they don't walk. There are lots of towns that do have,
I mean, if I'm on the
Alfred
board, I
has-
decide I don't like a white. I don't want any houses in town white. Should I say no building should be white? I mean, that's just my choice. Now, whether I think that
I think they should be,
where do you set
Broad,
the standards? Do you say every building's gotta have brick on it, every building's gotta have stone on it, no buildings can have stone? Every building's gotta have a chimney in it. I mean, where do you come up with that
that's what you do.
guidelines,
That's
you
what you
know?
do.
So, I just think the word guidance is a little more appropriate than standards. That's just my opinion, I'm only one of the residents of the town, doesn't matter.
I'm gonna go eat worms.
How about we start off with, any chance we get the planning board together on a workshop?
I think we should have a workshop.
As much as this may be.
Yes.
on-
I would like to get an opinion from the one professional in this office, on this building, or in this room, that's Lee J. Feldman.
Yes.
Step right up, Mr. Feldman.
Can you give us your input on design standards versus guidelines, please?
Well, first, since the chairman is not here, I'm Lee J. Feldman. I'm,
Nice to meet you. Name with a face.
How are you? I think that it's interesting listening to the conversation and the different issues that come about with design guidelines and standards. I think that as the board proceeds with this issue, what I can do with Glenn is provide you several options of guidelines versus standards from other communities that have that sort of thing. And I think what we would want to do is workshop that, talk about it, see what the best thoughts and ideas are, and either blend something together or take somebody else's and modify it to make it work for the town. But I wouldn't shut the door on standards, depending on how restrictive they are. You don't want to make them overly restrictive. But also guidelines, provided they give you some real good guidance without limiting someone's standards, could work pretty well as well. There's also a fancier process today, and we won't really go down that road, but it's called performance-based zoning, which really gets away from the traditional type of zoning. And maybe we want to at least take a look at that and talk about it to at least have conversation and maybe use it in a limited basis somewhere.
Is that
But-
the book we read? Yeah. Okay.
But that's, there's numbers of options out there, and I think there are some other things that I'm being tasked with when I start with you folks, but certainly I can work this into a schedule and be happy to workshop it with you folks and with Glenn and see if we can keep that process moving for you.
We had looked at one that was actually like a hybrid, and it had minimum standards, so you had some backbone in it, but then it had guidelines below it, which seemed to. I mean, I think the board, we liked that idea. It gave some tooth to it.
Sure.
Whereas the guideline, you really don't.
Do you know which community it was or where it was from?
I think Barrington.
Barrington, New Hampshire.
May have been Barrington.
Okay, all right. I'll just try to get a hold of those myself so that I
We
can.
had some from North Berwick too, I believe. They're
Right,
pretty
yep.
much standards.
In fact, I passed a note to Glenn just a few seconds ago that said, let's take a look at North Berwick. They just, in fact, I provided them some support on that in providing them with several different options, and they developed what they wanted based on that.
Their guidelines were pretty specific. I mean,
Yeah, they
were.
astrocal sizes in the windows and
Those
everything
were
like
a
that.
little-
So.
Some of that may be going too far, but there are some really good guidelines out there, and they say do this, but we don't want to see this. It may get to peaked
yes,
roofs or
yes.
clapboard type of housing rather than flat roofs, and so there are different options out there. And I think what we ought to do is take a look at several different options, and we might be able to come up with something based on that.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Vijay.
You're welcome.
All right.
So yours, I think we're done anyway.
Are we?
Yeah.
Adjournment?
Just in time.
Huh?
Adjournment?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you
So
really?
you can, yeah.
I have one.
Unless you have something else.
No?
I was telling you, Mr. Selectmen's meeting, they volunteered him for something else.
Great.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a sidewalk,
Okay.
May
6
6th,
o'clock.
6
May-
o'clock.
No, May 20th.
20th.
I'm sorry,
20th.
at 6
6
o'clock
o'clock.
on
Yeah.
Goodwin Mills Road. This
Yeah.
package, this
Yeah.
is a butters note.
Yeah.
But according to Glenn, recycling is not permitted, and that's, you
Okay.
can't buy salvage cars.
This is all we're doing for, this is part of it.
Did you folks look at his application?
Yes.
Am I missing where he entered recycling request?
I
There
don't
is
know.
one
Yeah.
recycling mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mentioned, will start as soon as recycling license is obtained.
If you're applying for recycling deal license, you must also complete. And so,
Okay.
I just happened to notice it, so.
There's something.
It's
I read
right
it
here.
too, yeah.
It's on the last page, the application.
And that's saying he's gonna be a salvage yard too.
Says no, it wasn't a salvage, that's, before 83. What did your salvage yard begin?
Yeah, that's saying
Wow.
it's being salvaged right there. Will start.
As soon as recycling license is
Yeah.
obtained.
Which he's not gonna get. Wait, we can't really be discussing this right now, right?
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, you should know.
We can't.
Excuse us.
Are you really serious about that?
Yes.
I broke rules in 2 states together.
Oh, that's dedication. All right.
2.08's going to the selectmen.
Okay, good. As written.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Judy,
So, do your thing.
motion to adjourn.
Second,
Discussion. It's your part.
yeah.
All those in favor?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, all
We're
right.
good.
Actually, we gotta, yeah.
All in favor? All right.
Sorry about that.